Through budget reconciliation, I will advance a measure to have them fined up to the entire amount of their endowment.
You want to run that by me one more time? Welcome to Racist of the Week. I'm Reese Waters. This is where we expose the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination in hopes we can build a more perfect union. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the page, and definitely leave me any possible suggestions for nominees in the comments, or email me at reese@reesewaters.com. And shout out to all my new members here on the channel. Today's nominee, something that a ton of you guys sent me and I very much appreciated, Donald Trump. I got a feeling he gonna have a cabinet full of these things by 2028. Hell, he gonna have a cabinet full by 2026. Run the clip.
While academics have been obsessed with indoctrinating America's youth, the time has come to reclaim our once great educational institutions from the radical left, and we will do that.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to stop us right there. What constitutes indoctrinating America's youth? Exactly. What is indoctrinating America's youth mean? Does that mean depictions and accounts of American history that are too accurate for you? Is that what indoctrination means? Because I don't see you challenging the facts that are being presented, just the feelings that comes from the facts that are being presented. So your own behavior is too problematic for you? Is that what indoctrination means? Okay, go on.
Our secret weapon will be the college accreditation system. It's called accreditation for a reason. The accreditors are supposed to ensure that schools are not ripping off students and taxpayers, but they have failed totally.
Did somebody just say schools and rip off? Is that what I just heard? I just thought I heard schools and rip off in the same sentence.
So you're a former Trump University student. Do you believe that it was a fraud, as the Attorney General has said?
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
When I return to the White House, I will fire the radical left accreditors that have allowed our colleges to become dominated by Marxist maniacs and lunatics.
That's interesting. It's been a while since I was in school, but I don't recall any Marxist maniacs and lunatics in my classes or being taught in my classes. What schools is he talking about? Trump University right now?
We will then accept applications for new accreditors who will impose real standards on colleges once again and once and for all. These standards will include defending the American tradition and Western civilization, protecting free speech, eliminating wasteful administrative positions that drive up costs incredibly.
Okay, I gotta stop you right there. How do you fold protecting free speech in a denouncement of the accreditors and replacing them with new people that will defend Western civilization? How do you fold free speech into your demand that they protect Western civilization, whatever that means? I would love to know. Maybe that was a weave. Maybe the weave just went and got free speech and brought it into a neighborhood it did not belong in. Oh, one other thing. I forgot about defending the American tradition. So what exactly does defending the American tradition mean? Does defending the American tradition mean defending America? Is that what defending the American tradition mean? Because if you're demanding that they defend America, then you're taking a stance that America has never been wrong or done anything wrong, which would be totally nonsensical to a country that actively has amendments to its constitution. And also the fact that, how about you just did a whole presidential campaign talking about how we were a garbage can? So, did America just go undefeated until 2020 and then we lost our way? Is that your take?
Removing all Marxist diversity, equity, and inclusion bureaucrats.
There we go. I was trying to figure out where he was going with the whole Marxist thing. Diversity, equity, and inclusion bureaucrats. Yes, they would have to be bureaucrats because you couldn't imagine that they would be doing anything. So they would have to be bureaucrats.
Offering options for accelerated and low-cost degrees, providing meaningful job placement and career services, and implementing college entrance and exit exams to prove that students are actually learning and getting their money's worth. Furthermore, I will direct the Department of Justice to pursue federal civil rights cases against schools that continue to engage in racial discrimination.
Man, I was waiting. Hey, this is good, because people said that, you never know, Trump might get in office and he might do some things. He might actually do some good. And then we activating the Civil Rights Division to get justice. Yeah, I'm with this.
And schools that persist in explicit unlawful discrimination under the guise of equity will not only have their endowments taxed, but through budget reconciliation, I will advance a measure to have them fined up to the entire amount of their endowment.
You want to run that by me one more time?
Explicit unlawful discrimination under the guise of equity will not only have their endowments taxed, but through budget reconciliation, I will advance a measure to have them fined up to the entire amount of their endowment.
Okay, so let's stop us right there. So you want to launch civil rights cases to pursue discrimination under the guise of equity. So you are talking about anti-white discrimination here. Let's get that clear. Let's get a quick definition of equity real quick. So equity, we got a noun. This comes from the Oxford Dictionary. The quality of being fair and impartial. Quote, equity of treatment. You know what? Let's get another one. Let's go to Merriam-Webster. Merriam-Webster says equity is fairness or justice in the way people are treated. Often specifically freedom from disparities in the way people of different races, genders, etc. are treated. So you want to use the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice, which is badly needed, by the way. You want to use their time and energy and our money to pursue cases against people that are trying to correct society's wrongs and provide some level of justice across strata. That is how you want to spend their time and their money. Just so I'm clear. Through
budget reconciliation, I will advance a measure to have them fined up to the entire amount of their endowment. A portion of the seized funds will then be used as restitution for victims of these illegal and unjust policies that hurt our country so badly.
How so? I didn't know how so. I'm trying to figure out how so. I could understand how it hurt your friends. I could understand that because let's get one thing clear. All of this railing against DEI and saying it should be the best person available never quite comes for cronyism or nepotism, does it? Doesn't. Never quite does. No, that is the elephant-sized hole in any case they attempt to make about how it should be a true meritocracy. That's number one. Number two, clearly, when people say that diversity is our strength, when you have more candidates, when you open up a wide net, then you allow for some of those people that might not have otherwise have gotten an opportunity to all of a sudden get an opportunity, but you have to open that net in order to reach those people. However, if the current existing net reaches the only people who you have an interest in succeeding, then the ultimate strength of the product is less important than ensuring that you and yours get through. So is that what you mean when you say you're hurting our country? Is that what you mean? Because our country, right, clearly isn't about the product. It's about this group. It's about make you and yours, right? So you and yours is who constitutes our country, because it's certainly not constituting me.
Colleges have gotten hundreds of billions of dollars from hardworking taxpayers, and now we are going to get this anti-American insanity out of our institutions once and for all.
Anti-American insanity. Now, that is the one thing that I will agree with here. I will say, if you look at America historically, any attempts to diversify or provide equity would run absolutely counter to our history. You are 1,000% right there.
We are going to have real education in America.
Well, some of us will. Some of us will. Now, the fact that any level of oversight diminishes your ability to manipulate job placement and college placement wouldn't happen to come into play here, would it? And by the way, since this is not at all something that's needed, this whole idea of equity and justice, let's see what your cabinet looking like right now. See what your cabinet looking like right now. Which actually is quite predictable, given that you are somebody who once reportedly asked if America was ready to accept an N as the winner of a business competition.
Trump seemed to have an issue with this idea all along. You could see him reacting and shaking his head, wobbling his head, grimacing, wincing, before he said, yeah, but would America buy then he said the N word, winning.
So a person like that choosing a cabinet, presumably it would look the way that yours looks, and look the way that your companies look, for that matter. Oh wait, no, actually, I take that back. They actually looked a little bit better because of some of the DEI efforts, but I can imagine what they're gonna look like moving forward. Let's see, where are we exactly here? Yeah, that looks about right. That looks about where we are right now in the pyramid, and moving on up. I would actually like to provide a little bit of caution while you're looking to provide some of the restitution, as you call it, to the people that have been affected. According to Vivek Ramaswamy, that would really just do them more harm than good.
I'm against race-based reparations because I think it will create more division,
what
not
about
less.
race-based discrimination that occurred in this country for
Yeah, so I should let me just clarify one aspect. I think there was a time and place for it in the Reconstruction era. But today, when we actually bring back racial reparations, it actually causes greater discrimination, not more. I think we're seeing a rise in anti-Black and I think other forms of racism in the country. But part of the reason I think we're seeing it is there's no better way to foster racial animus than to take something away from someone based on their skin color.
So I'm trying to figure out if reparations is something that would be damaging and problematic to the Black community, while all of a sudden it's needed for Tyler and Jezebel. Like I'm trying to figure out exactly why it's due for them, but not for us. Also of note here, the survivors of the Tulsa race massacre were denied reparations. The living survivors were denied reparations. But you want to launch a civil rights case against folks that are looking to provide equity in our colleges and provide restitution to those that were affected. And this is the same guy who just a month ago was talking about a two-tier justice system. And you know what? He was right about that. It absolutely is a two-tiered justice system. 100-year-old survivors of a race massacre cannot get any restitution, but you're looking to launch civil rights cases against schools that are trying to provide equity. That is where we're at. And by the way, there are those among us, and I mean us, that tried to tell me that he was looking out for us, that he identified with us, right? Isn't that what y'all tried to tell me, black conservatives? Yeah. You finding out now, ain't you? Yeah? How's that looking?
MAGA family, I was on TikTok Live and a fellow Trump supporter said that all he needed was my vote. I'll never be part of the MAGA family, and that I'm black, I'll never be accepted, but he just got my vote. Nah, that's crazy. Like, I love MAGA Nation, I love the MAGA family, and that breaks my heart that someone would speak to me like that right after the election, that all I was a vote? Nah, I love all you guys, and I know most of you MAGA family members are not racist, and I love you guys, and I'll keep repping MAGA Nation, Trump 2024, but that really broke my heart that some guy would say that. Extremely heartbroken.
Now, I actually spoke about the initial dissolution of some DEI programs in Florida and Alabama, and how that was met with a travel advisory and admonishment from the NAACP, which I very much appreciated, as well as calls for a boycott for some of their sports teams. I very much appreciated the collective thinking there. It was long overdue, and I think we need to regroup in that regard right now. As far as reparations is concerned, for those of you that need a refresher, I generally love to use an MLK clip for some of the injustice, financial injustice that we have been on the wrong end of. But just for the sake of a refresh, how about I go to Greg Marcel Dixon, who's a candidate for South Carolina's 6th Congressional District. He laid it down.
Reparation is not based on race. It's based on status. A black person who comes here from Nigeria or Jamaica or Brazil, they're not owed a penny from America. They chose to come here. We are talking about the people who are freedmen, the descendants of people emancipated by this country. We still know those people because you are one of those people. I am one of those people. A lot of those people here in the audience. I just told you I could break down my genealogy. My dear Nana was 101 when she died. My great-grandfather just died 3 weeks ago. He was 100. He remembers fighting alongside white veterans in World War II. He remembers coming back and seeing his white veterans get homes and lands and pensions and the door being slammed in his face. And we are going to say that America that says liberty and justice for all, that's okay, get over it, keep it moving, while we have to hear never forget for everyone else's tragedy. And as far as from where reparations will come, I need people to stop thinking is going to come from their tax dollars. Look at all the trillions that America spends right now. We talk about inflation, the invisible tax. We have something called the PPP loans. Do we remember the PPP loans? America spent $6 trillion on PPP loans. You know what they just did? They canceled all of it. And we didn't even know. America gave the corporations, the banks alone, $29 trillion. You know what they did with that? They canceled all of it. So let's stop acting as if America is as hamstrung by debt as they want to pretend. Because when America wants to pay for something, they find a way to do it. And truth be told, the corporations, again, aren't hurting. The defense manufacturers aren't hurting. It's only Americans who are hurting. And that is a choice. We all know it's a choice. That's why we're running for office, because we know this country can do better. So I refuse to accept that this country can't do right by a people they've wronged for centuries, and I refuse to accept that any justice-minded person thinks that's the right thing to do.
Yes, there are people that have quite literally died for this while we are still waiting. But by all means, use our time, energy, and taxpayer dollars to pursue justice for Sawyer and Kaylin. That is where we're at and what we can expect over the course of the next 4 years. And if what I've been getting from Maga is any indication, they're all for it. My man Brian Shapiro said what needed to be said, and more people need to tell him about themselves.
I find it very interesting that you won't answer my question. I'm going to try again. Do you think systemic racism exists? Yes or no?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, what a shocker. What a shocker. The guy's exposing himself now. He's probably going to his Klan rally tonight. So you think that black people and white people as a whole in society are treated exactly the same, whether it comes to our justice system? You think that black people have not been oppressed, even though they were owned, something called slavery, and you don't think that police officers at times have treated people differently. Let me ask you another question, since you seem like such an intelligent guy and so self-aware. If George Floyd was white, do you think the same thing would have happened? If Ahmaud Arbery was white, do you think the same thing would have happened? Answer the question.
No, I don't think there would be hundreds of billions of dollars in property damage.
I'm not asking you about property damage, you stupid racist fool. Answer my question. If Ahmaud Arbery was white, would the same thing would have happened to him? Would 3 white people have lynched him, and then would the whole community and the police department throw that case under the rug? Please answer my question, which has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter protest. If Ahmaud Arbery was white, would the same thing have happened? Yes or no?
You can't even stay on the topic of colleges.
You can't answer any of my questions, which proves to me that you are a bigoted racist. So I have one more question for you. Since you won't answer any of my questions about systemic racism, the whole reason why we have affirmative action, the whole reason why, if you're a minority in this country and you do well in school and you have grades, sometimes a university will say, we want a minority and want to give them an opportunity, okay? But you think it's only about the color of their skin, not about their grades, because you're a moron. So my last question to the moron racist who won't answer any of my questions, who doesn't think systemic racism exists because he's a racist, my real question for you, sir, is what time is your Klan rally tonight? What time do you put the white hood on?
I'm not in a Klan.
Yeah, exactly. You're a racist.